Hey, I'm Jake Milstein from Critical Insight, and over there is Mike Hamilton from Critical Insight. He founded the company, and he's the former CISO of the city of Seattle, and he's advised and helped cities and hospitals with emergency preparedness. Mike, why'd you found Critical Insight, and what's it do?
Well, critical insight at its core is a combination of managed and professional cybersecurity services that, taken together, can fill all the gaps in your program, can be your program, 24/7 monitoring, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, we founded the company specifically to work with organizations that are considered critical at the scale we live our lives. So we work a lot with local governments because that's your clean water. That's, radio systems for law enforcement, public safety, things that are really critical to us, and the health sector, because there's nothing more critical than having an operating health sector. And lately, the threat surface has gone up and hospitals are getting knocked down. So, we're here, we're in your corner.
And speaking of hospitals, we were the very first preferred provider picked by the American Hospital Association because of our work with healthcare professionals and with hospitals to provide 24/7 SOC services, to provide vulnerability identification, and to do HIPAA risk assessments. And we do it in a healthcare package, or you can pick and choose different services. Mike, we're not just AI and ML. We have great people who use great technology. How does it work?
Well, we, like, competitors to us, we put a device on a network that collects information about network flows and security events that are happening. We like to leverage all of the existing investments that have been made by our customers, so we don't require that you deploy agents or anything but a collector. And then we have analysts that evaluate tickets. After we apply analytics to the data we collect, tickets come out for the analysts and they investigate. And when they think they're onto something real, they can tap a packet capture that we keep on customer premise so that they can just replay the whole thing.
Sure.
So when I say, we gobble up all these events, some come from the network, some come from the endpoint agents, some come from cloud properties, Office 365, AWS. It's wherever your stuff is, we'll monitor that. And when something aberrational happens, we're on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that sets us apart from other managed detection response companies is we see MDR differently. We see MDR as not just something bad happens, somebody gives you a call. We help you prepare for an incident. Once it happens, we can either give you a phone call or we can help respond. And, most healthcare organizations don't want you to respond if that means you're just going to turn things off. We actually have folks 24/7 who can take part in the response if you need it. So we see MDR as broader. And that came from feedback from folks who work in hospitals who said, no, you can't turn off the infusion pumps, right?
Yeah, well, I think our attitude towards this is more along the lines of emergency management, right? I mean, I have worked in emergency operations centers for a variety of, disasters that have occurred, and treating it that way is, I think, a better way to approach the problem. There's this thing called the National Incident Management System. I'm trained on NIMS, and it's all about, working your incident through, being cognizant of the fact that there could be collateral damage from some of the actions that you take. So yes, our way of dealing with this is very specific. In terms of the health sector, yes, one of the things that we can do is we can put an asset into quarantine. Prior to doing that, we have to make sure that both of us, ourselves and our customers, understand the implications of doing things like that. That's a really great service at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, when you're off skiing or fishing or something like that, and you got an asset on your network that's really starting to act up. Well, we can put it into a little jail. We don't want to do that with an infusion pump. So, there's a lot of planning that goes into this.
Yeah, yeah, and there's that one hospital that we helped that they had a contractor put something on an MRI machine by mistake.
Hmm.
They plugged it in, they were servicing the MRI machine. We caught it, lickety split, and helped him get the MRI machine off the network
Yep.
before that malware toolkit went anywhere. Mike, before I wrap this up, I think we should tell them a little bit about the secret sauce. How do we find our How do we find our analysts, and why do we have a 97% retention rate of our folks?
Okay, well, that's two answers. So the first one is, how do we find our analysts? Because we know that if we're going to be the focal point for the professional practitioners, right? Whether it's our managed service or our consulting services, um, these folks are in short supply. And if we are going to provide those to our customers, that means we own the people problem. So, in order to get in front of that, I created a nonprofit. It's called Pisces, the Public Infrastructure Security Cyber Education System. What we do is we monitor small local governments, cities, and counties for free in return for collecting data from those networks and using it as live fire training for currently 5 universities. They're all teaching exactly the same curriculum, how to be an analyst. So we've created a pipeline of practitioners that are more qualified than people who just, learn from books and take tests and maybe do some lab exercises or something like that, right? They have been in front of actual events in real time happening with critical infrastructure in their state. Pisces is expanding into Colorado right now. We're going into Kentucky next, and we're going to bolt universities onto local governments to provide infrastructure protection and workforce development. But then the other side of that is what happens when you come into the company. We are regarded as one of the best places to work in Washington State because we actually care about people's careers. And when you come in as an analyst, there are multiple pathways that we define for you. If you want to be a consultant, you want to be offensive security and a penetration tester, do you want to be a customer communication specialist or a sales engineer or somebody that works on our engineering operations? We provide pathways into all those routes. And so we I think the statistic from 2021 was, we have a 50% promotion rate and a 97% retention rate for our technical resources. During the Great Resignation, those are phenomenal numbers. And so it's the combination of how we source our practitioners and then how we take care of them once they're in the company.
Yep. And by the way, we also have great folks. All right. If folks want to get in touch with us, shoot me an email, jake@criticalinsight.com. You can also go to our website, criticalinsight.com. See, it's all in the same thing, same email address, same URL. It's very exciting. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Mike, thanks for joining us. And goodbye, everybody.
Bye.